This is a family-oriented MPV with an on-the-road price of a little over $45,000. And today we're taking a look at the 2026 Sienna 2.5 Hybrid Urban Luxury Edition to see whether it's worth considering and what its strengths and weaknesses are. The vehicle is about 5,615 millimeters long, with a wheelbase of 3,600 millimeters and a curb weight of around 2.15 tons. In terms of power, this version uses a non-plug-in hybrid system composed of a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, producing 189 horsepower, paired with a 134 kilowatts front electric motor and an additional 40 kilowatts low-output rear electric motor. In city driving, fuel consumption is basically no different from the dual-zone version, and real owners report an average combined fuel consumption of about 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers, while real-world 0 to 100 kilometers per hour acceleration times generally fall between 8.5 and 9 seconds. The chassis hardware looks fairly ordinary on paper, with a front McPherson setup and what the manufacturer calls a double wishbone rear suspension, though in reality it's a multi-link design. But once you're actually driving, the chassis feels very solid and composed, stable without any shaking or floating, and it stays nicely planted to the road. In addition, thanks to the assistance of the electric motors, power delivery at launch and at low to mid speeds is very responsive, and closely follows throttle inputs. So overall, in urban low to mid-speed driving conditions, its handling can be described as very flexible and agile. However, power reserves in the mid to late range are limited, and even in an unloaded condition, once you're above about 80 kilometers per hour and press the accelerator hard for a quick burst, acceleration becomes noticeably sluggish, and at that point the engine is not only loud but also sounds rather strained. In terms of exterior design, the 2026 model hasn't seen many changes, with the grille and headlights retaining the same styling as before, and functionally it still includes automatic headlights and adaptive high and low beams. On the side, this version uses 18-inch wheels paired with 235 width tires and also comes with tire pressure monitoring. The exterior mirrors feature heating and automatic folding when locked, and full keyless entry is standard on both sides along with dual power sliding doors. This is why the Sienna is described as a purely family-oriented MPV, because its exterior presentation is very simple, without an oversized aggressive grille, flashy wheels, or eye-catching welcome lighting effects meant to impress on formal occasions. Everything is straightforward, understated, and practical. Opening the tailgate space is absolutely one of its major strengths, with the cargo floor recessed downward, and even with all 3 rows of seats in use, there is still over 50 liters of cargo capacity, enough to fit a family's luggage. The downside, however, is that in order to make the 3rd row easy to fold and stow, both the seat backs and cushions are very short and thin, more like small stools, making them unsuitable for adults on long trips. So if you frequently need to seat people in the 3rd row, this vehicle really requires careful consideration. In terms of resale value, looking only at vehicles around 3 years old, if the condition is good, they can generally still sell for around $36,000. Next, let's get inside and take a look at the interior. And for used cars, Dongchetti Secondhand is a large and reliable platform to buy from, with promotional events where buyers can receive about $1,400 in subsidies, weekly chances to win prizes like an $80,000 Tesla, and even sellers can get additional incentives if the 3rd row isn't used often. Folding it down and sliding the 2nd row all the way back creates a large 4-seat layout, and at that point the legroom for 2nd row passengers is no longer just generous but massive, with roughly 1 to 2 square meters of space. Though the drawback is that while the space is huge, the interior trim quality is not particularly upscale, as the sliding door panels still use large areas of hard plastic. The overhead reading lights are not very bright, and even in this version the 2nd row does not come with leg rests. This is with the 2nd row slid all the way back, and if you slide the 2nd row all the way forward while keeping the front row in a comfortable driving position, the cargo area depth reaches about 1.87 meters. With both vertical height and width exceeding 1 meter and combined with the low cargo floor, it becomes extremely convenient whether you're sleeping in the car or moving and hauling items. This is also why the versions equipped with airline-style seats don't sell particularly well, because those seats significantly limit how far the 2nd row can slide forward and backward, reducing overall functionality. Up front, storage space is also very abundant, with an additional pass-through storage shelf below the center display, a spot on the shifter area to stand a phone upright. For cuffholders, a deep center armrest storage box, and a very large lower storage tray beneath the shifter, along with charging ports scattered throughout the cabin. In other details, this version's steering wheel is wrapped in genuine leather and integrates L2 level driver assistance, with a purely analog instrument cluster behind it. while the 2026 model center screen has been upgraded to a 12.3-inch display that supports basic online connectivity, navigation, and apps like CarLife, though it does not use a large tablet-style screen, which you may or may not find a bit outdated, even though many physical buttons have been retained. In the end, when it comes time to summarize, you suddenly realize that this vehicle's pros and cons are actually hard to judge, because the Sienna still has a unique position in the market. If you look at the top 6 MPVs by sales in the same price range, it is one of the very few gasoline-plate MPVs on the list, with the only other one being its sister model, the Granvia. And if you compare it with a range of newer energy MPVs, it is absolutely outmatched in terms of power performance, luxury feel, features, and materials. But when it comes to the core of what an MPV is about, large space and multifunctionality, this vehicle still has a level of irreplaceability.